here's the story about the basement. Okay, this is an article from BBC News. And it's one of several articles that says the same thing, quoting Jimmy Alefantis, where he says here, they ignore basic truths, Alefantis tells BBC. For instance, the conspiracy supposedly is run out of the restaurant's basement. And he says, quote, we don't even have a basement. Famous quote by now in Pizzagate. Perhaps equally famous is the debunking of that claim, allegedly, from this publication, Metro Weekly, a local DC publication. I'll read you the important quote. Because a lot of restaurants will open a can and put it on. Like our sauce, we harvest a whole crop of organic tomatoes, 10 tons of tomatoes every year. Can them all, store them in the basement, have like a harvest party when it gets loaded in. Store them in the basement. Okay? So we thought, well, maybe there is a basement. He says there's a basement. He's probably lying about the basement as a cover-up. We should go find out if there is a basement. There's some other evidence that we've seen that leads us to believe there's a basement somewhere. And that's these construction photos from Jimmy Comet's Instagram. Jimmy Comet, a.k.a. James Alefantis. James Achilles Alefantis, if you'd like to know. That's a construction there. And a couple guys, doesn't look like a construction team dressed up for that exactly. It looks kind of like private work, if you want to speculate. But it is a basement. Jimmy Comet says, makes some comments about it, underpinning and so forth, showing that he knows a little bit about tunnels. Then there's this photo from his Instagram as well. And this is the one where I might have found something. I'll show you up close. This is another picture of major construction inside of a basement. And Jimmy Comet says holiday joy overtime. So I'm guessing they're working when the restaurant is closed. And that's why it's during the holiday. And they're not disturbing the customers with jackhammers. It looks like they're completely taking out the foundation there. I mean, they're going right through the floor and doing something major. Now, the only problem is you can't say for sure where this is or what he's talking about. Correct? Okay, you agree with me. Now let's take a closer look at this picture. I have it here. Okay, great. So that thing in the back, behind the guy with the jackhammer, I can draw on this. It won't show my cursor. This thing right here, that, my friends, is a ping pong table. And I'm going to prove that to you. It is most definitely a ping pong table. So that is evidence. Well, let me prove to you it's a ping pong table. Should I do that first? Maybe I'll do that first. Let's go find you that ping pong table right here. And I'll have to probably do a little switching back and forth. This is your ping pong table. I'll make it dramatic for you here. Let me go to the picture actually. Here is the ping pong table folded against the wall behind the guy with the jackhammer. And here is that table, actually. And I'm going to show you how you can really tell. Right there. You can see the bottom of the table is blue. You can see what the legs look like. I'll switch this over. See that? How did I find that? I don't know. It's kind of magical. You can, I'll drill it home a little bit. Look at the feet. A ping pong table, real important that you have adjustments you can make with the feet so that it can be nice and flat. So you have those things that screw up and down to adjust the height. Yes? Yes. So this also, and I'll circle it right here, is foot. So, and you can see on the side, it was hard to read And so I just got lucky and found out what it was. You can't really read what it says there, but if you look here, you can see it's the same kind of logo. It's Joola, Joola, and I know what you guys are thinking. Joola. That's not funny, guys. There it is, Joola. Okay, so that is a ping pong table, leading us to believe that it might be under Comet Ping Pong. As we suspected, the basement is really there, just like he said it was. He's been lying to us, just like we expected him to. Yes? Yes. Well, I said earlier, the basement is not under Comet Ping Pong. Okay, why do I say that? Well, this is from Property Shark. This is a thing that looks at, properties, tells you stuff about them. Let me make sure I'm on the right one first. Okay, that is 5031. The address of Comet Ping Pong is 5037. This is it right here, and I have a zoom for you. 5037. And I'll prove that to you. Here's Comet Ping Pong. I'll have to change this shot. There's Comet Ping Pong, 5037 Connecticut Ave. You can see that there. Okay, so this is 5037 Connecticut Ave, and we'll take a look at the square footage and the zoning for it. Building, under building here, it says stories 2, which led some to be suspicious. I'm going to tell you what that's referring to is simply the height of the building. So it's the height of 2 stories if it were built that way. But the roof area or the ceiling area is open in that restaurant, as you might imagine. So still, it's 2 stories. The square footage is 3925, and it's on 0.09 acres. I'm going to show you Comet one more time. It's that building there. Well, it's lit up for you, so you can see it. And it runs the length. It's a little longer than the other buildings. Right next to it is Little Red Fox. And then on the other side of that is James Achilles Alefantis' other restaurant, Buck's Fishing and Camping. Keep that in your mind. Comet Ping Pong, that's the property there. 3,925 square feet on 0.09 acres. So what I did is I said, well, okay, the property's 0.09 acres to square feet. That's 3,920 square feet. So at 3,925, he's taken up 1 story only. He takes up the entire acreage of the lot, nothing up or down. Okay, so that's a 1-story building as far as we can tell, without any massive construction that we don't know about. As far as construction we don't know about, let me address that first. This is another building in the area. This is the Sherwin-Williams shop, about 3 doors down. And just to show you how I paid for this, by the way, in case you're wondering how I have all this info. I paid for it. That's what your donations go towards, by the way. But I wanted to have the facts. This is the facts on 5023 Connecticut Ave. And just look there, it shows D3 permits, and it mentions a permit being issued for a sign. Okay, I showed you that just to show you that as far as Comet Ping Pong is concerned, and then the next building I'll show you, nothing, there is no mention of any applications for work, no permits required. So that is interesting considering the construction they were doing, at least under it being under Comet Ping Pong. There's no listing of it. I'm going to go to similar properties so I can get to the one I closed out right here. Now we're going to look at 5031 Connecticut Avenue. That's going to be Buck's Fishing and Camping. Here it is here, 5031 Connecticut Ave Northwest, 5031 Connecticut Ave. So this is 5031, Buck's Fishing and Camping. Buck's Fishing and Camping is on 0.1 acres, 1/10 of an acre. So the thing is there's no building on half of the property for 5031 Connecticut Ave. So I'm going to give you the whole story here so you can get all the details. You see Comet Ping Pong runs the whole length of the acreage, where Bucks Fishing and Camping, they own the area behind the restaurant, and those are its parking spaces, but it doesn't have square footage there. I mention that because, remember, Comet Ping Pong comes in at 3925 square feet, covering that entire property, 0.09 acres, and 5031, covering about half the property with floor space, has 4,500 square feet. And it has that square footage because it's got a basement. So you can see living area 4,500 square feet, and it says basement area 2,250. So it's got 2,250 up and 2,250 down for a total of 4,500 square feet. So that's where your basement is, ladies and gentlemen. It's under Bucks Fishing and Camping. Perhaps the attention has been on the wrong restaurant. What do you think? I think it's a story. Because if they didn't apply for construction permits and they're doing that kind of work, that could be a problem. That could be a problem.